Okay, so I know a lot of you had a problem with the zoom shot. What I have here, the trackers that I've put for the zoom shot, and I would like also to remind you that with any kind of a shot, it is very important to spread your tracker as good as possible to represent the 3D spaces as much as possible, because if you put everything in same spot, then you're going to throw off your solution. So I have about 10 trackers here, and I have the camera which has the image plane of the sequence. And what I'm going to do before I'm going to hit the solution, I'm going to right click on the camera and say new constraint. On this new constraint, I'm going to put focal length, and the type would be initialized. Now, the fact that I already have a check mark on the enabled is because my camera, if you look at the attributes of the camera, has the parameter of the focal length is a variable. Most of you get a red strict line here, which makes it a constant. So you need to click on this button in order to make this parameter a variable. So my constraint would be initialized, and the value I'm going to start with is about 40 or 42 units, which represent the lens. I'm going to put a 40. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the frames up until frame 180. At frame 180, the zoom starts. So holding shift, left mouse button key, and highlight all the way to frame 180. And then in this highlight, right click on the constraint and say add frames. Shift, right mouse button, and now I can send this to a solution. Hopefully I did everything right. And I'll notice that I have a green line here on my timeline. All the trackers that I have are green. I'm going to look at the graph editor really quick, and I'm going to look at the focal length, and that is exactly the result that I want. As you can see here, this is where the zoom occurs, right there. So remember, you have to go to the constraint, add up the constraint all the way to about 180 frames, and say from frame 0 to frame 180, the value would be about 40 units, and the type would be initialized. So for the first 180 frames, this zoom would be a constant on 40 units, and then it's going to change. From 180 forward, the engine that calculates the zoom knows that it becomes a variable. And now all I have to do is set up a coordinate system and take it to Maya. Well, coordinate system, just to make it very brief, I'm going to take my coordinate system, I'm going to click on the 3D, look through the camera. I'm going to say that, let's say this would be my, my origin. Distance would be about, start with the lower number of 10, from, let's say, from, I don't know, from track 7 to track 8, or I can say track 7 to track 10, would be about 10 units. And remember that these units don't mean anything until you import this into Maya. X would be from track 3 to track 1, track 3 to track 1. Y would be from track 9 to track 6. And apply coordinate system. Now the fact that it became crooked is because of the X that is going that way. But I can easily fix this by grabbing the grid and rotating it to whatever I need it to be. Now the fact that I'm grabbing the grid is I'm just rotating the group of the camera and the trackers around the grid in 3D space. There it is. That's the zoom shot.